Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Swift Media Live broadcast of the WTRL Team Time Trial number 114. We are on a brand new course this week. One of the features is pretty awesome that has never been used before, so there will not be any previous course records prior to today, but records are already being set from zones earlier. We are featuring the Platinum League today, as we always do. It is all about the top teams, the broadcast, that have qualified in the specific category that we are covering on the day-to-day. Today we are in for the men's/mixed Doppio Espresso, and then we will be covering for the Viennas. For the women, we're going to be in the Vienna Espresso and a little bit of the Frappe as we head into the summer months. Participation levels a little bit low, so we want to make sure that we're having a conversation about a race, and we can probably look at the Frappes and how they're competing maybe against some of those Vienna Espresso teams as well. But as far as the course goes today, a couple of things as the men start to set the first split times, and as those come in, we'll start getting right on into the racing as a lot of the teams have jumped out on course. The totals today are going to be 2 laps, 38.4 kilometers on the Ocean Lava Cliffside Loop. If you're not sure what the Ocean Lava Cliffside Loop is, it was a part of one of the recent expansions out on Zwift. A little bit of a juncture, as you can see, where the blue dot is now, that is going to be the pens that you leave from. Instead of taking a left on the usual hilly loop or the usual forward direction that you would call Watopia, you take a right immediately over to the volcano, go through the volcano, and then right onto the flats, past the Sky of the Squirrel in Italian Village, and then climb toward what would be the entrance to the jungle loop. But instead of taking the entrance, and there's quite a climb actually, instead of taking the entrance to the jungle loop, there is a new expansion, a little cutoff that makes you take a left right on over toward the forward Watopia Mountain Road, where that blue line is right there. That's the expansion section that the riders will be taking to take then the downhill that you see it take off of Watopia Mountain. Now, they don't go all the way up the mountain, obviously. It is only just a little ways up the mountain, a sharp descent, and then descend right on back down toward Ocean Boulevard and start the lap over. A good amount of sharp climbing on this course. As you can see, pretty intense, 19 kilometers in total, but that spike right in the middle is going to make things difficult for the riders on the day. A couple of quick little tidbits here on the course. I mean, it's definitely an interesting course that the riders are taking on. If you're unfamiliar with this course, it's definitely one of the cooler courses in my opinion. I personally like the sharp little punches that get put in the middle, but it'll be interesting for a TTT. Those punches make things pretty difficult for us. Now, also obviously we do have a poster competition, and for all those that are still involved in the poster competition, we're just going to make some cool highlights here because there's definitely been some efforts in the middle of the summer here in order to stay a part of the broadcasts that we put on for the TTT. So Team Tron, I really wanted to highlight this because they wrote a cool little snippet about this, that this team is a new team. Andy Hopkins put this out on the Facebook group. After creating this team, he says a short while ago, now our mission is to have a team to ride the WTRL TTT, one of the best events on Zwift. So they made it one team for us this week. We want to make more in time zones, so come join us, team. So they're putting a little out there. Cool to see new teams jumping in. And Team Tron, definitely appreciate you guys and what you've been doing in your commitment to the TTT. Always loving the anime that comes on in from TFC Hurricane for the A-team. We'll be watching out for them out there as well today. Electric Spirit Company always has a lot of fun. And good to see them out here. I don't know if this is just a picture of one of their products, but I appreciate them jumping in and putting that out there. Now, the Dirty Chronicle, it's a staple of it all, and having a little fun here. Come on, Stuart. Don't be such a coward. I'm out, guys. I've got a stitch maybe next time, which is a little bit of a play on politics there, and I like his bike. Wonder if he'll trade it for my macaroons. So definitely these guys in the Dirty Chronicle having a little bit of fun for our Ocean Lava Cliffside number 114. Diggler and the Dirty Afternoon Delight. Vikings also put out a little bit of something here with the Nice little graphic here. And I want to say a happy birthday over in the Owls team. As you can see, it is going to be celebrating Susie's 58th birthday. It's faster after 50 women, the Owls, with Ocean Cliffside Lava Cake is what we can see in the background. If you didn't recognize that, that's actually Lava Cake. So really appreciate them. Today, our featured riders are going to be the TSZ Waffles team. Swedish Zwifters Waffles are going to be the team that we are going to be on the feature today. So we'll jump in with them in just a little bit here. If you do want to interact with the broadcast as we get into the TTT and the splits, go ahead and make a comment over on the YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch stream. We are watching the comments as they do come on through. And let's just jump right on down to the images. The first team that was out on course, it is going to be the Innovation team. Jumping in with Dixon here, Richardson, Woodridge, it looks like. G. Richardson as well. Z is there. Worrell, I believe, as well. So solid time it looks like here at the first 9 kilometer mark. As we're going to jump into the times as they start to get set out here for the splits. See if we can get a look at this here. And it does look like for the splits out here today, they will be at the 10K, 20K, and 30K markers. So waiting in for the Innovation horde to make their way over the top of the cliffside. I'm assuming that the 10K marker, so it is going to be just after the bridge up here in just a moment, or maybe even in the middle of the bridge. And what a time to really hit that first split. The reality of having that split right in the right after this first puncher of a climb. As you can see here, 8% gradient, absolutely hammering right now in order to get the best possible time over the top of this. The splits will be scrolling through, it looks like, here throughout the broadcast. So you'll start to be able to get a little bit of an idea of how things are playing out between all of the categories as well. I do know that a lot of the riders that are out there in the TTT do show up to the broadcast specifically for Platinum League to get an idea of what's happening across all the categories and not just the featured categories. So as that does play out today, we will be able to get some of that. We'll stop the scrolling when we do get a chance, if need be, for the look at what is happening between the teams in the featured teams that are out here today. It does look like they did lose one already here. Greg, unable to hang on. And this is going to be the struggle, I think, when it comes to this initial climb, because it is so punchy. I did race this course in the Movistar Challenge for that esports team, and it was absolutely fire over the top of here in the legs, barely hanging on as riders attacked. And as you can see here, 6 watts per kilogram on the front. And one of the things about this little section of this climb here is that it is very it's deceiving that you're going to get any reprieve, because the false flat here you go into it, this 3% uphill gradient just puts the hurt in the legs continually after you've already punched well over your threshold, gone to the limit, and then you have to have some continued. You actually do not get any reprieve really until this point here when you do hit the turn off of Watopia Mountain reverse and actually get into a little bit flatter section. You're gonna hit some dirt here in a section though, which makes it even more difficult. So because of the dirt here in just a moment, it's going to be harder to hold on to the wheels as well. Again, it's still a little bit of 1% uphill gradient. So you can see how incredibly difficult this section of course is and how deceiving it can be as to whether or not you're actually able to get any kind of reprieve whatsoever. Good to see Rogerio Costa over in the chat on YouTube. He's giving a little bit of shout out to the Kestrels. Really appreciate that. Again, if you do want to interact with the broadcast, go ahead, make your comments over on the Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, and we will bring them on in. Questions about the course, questions as well, or just interactions, opinions out there, who you're cheering for. Always love to see it. Woolridge on the front, 4-5. Looks like things are calming down a little bit with this team because these sections do make it very difficult. Now they'll get a little bit of reprieve. It does undulate a little bit here and there, but I think now it's going to be the section where they'll look for a recovery, gain as much time as they possibly can as they come up and over the top here of this Ocean Cliffside section where the riders are going to be taking on the newest place out here. So going to be heading back on over to the Evo team. They're just coming up and over the top as well of their climb. It does look like they've lost a good amount of time, though, about 18 seconds to the Innovation team. We'll see if Innovation has overcooked it at all, though. on the day. We'll say they may be pressing their luck a little bit with how incredibly hard that they're going early on here. Innovation, as to be dropping Evo by that much is a pretty big accomplishment. We'll have to see how that ends up playing out here with them on the day. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump right on in with the first splits as they do come in, I believe. Doppio is a little ways behind, but we do have, it looks like, one split coming in here. Innovation Horde, they do have a 15:06 on the day, 10 kilometers in, waiting for Evo Vortex's time as they just crossed that 10.9, now 11 kilometer mark. A lot of these B categories and others are going to be on the chill, not quite there. There it is now. Z-Sun Red Dwarfs, Evo Vortex there, 15:13, 15:28 for this. So we'll see, as those are the first teams to come through. It does look like Innovation Alien Horde are getting a little bit of a walkaway here from the rest of the first starters. It is going to be the Innovation Alien Horde that started first out on course. There's, you do see the one out there. So they were the slowest coming in. We'll see if that changes up though a little bit. I wonder if they got a little extra firepower. That is why I said maybe overcooking it just a tad, because being the lowest seeded, they go out first, meaning that they had the slowest time coming in for the espressos this week. Red Sun Dwarfs right on the heels, it looks like, and gaining quickly, actually. And you can see up in this 5-4 here now through this section, taking this on in a very different way, it looks like, than what we saw from Evo or even Innovation now. And I have a feeling that the rider Jens here out of the Netherlands is definitely pressing the pace at 40 kilometers per hour. You can even see it in the riders' avatars here at this point, that the speeds are just higher. The roll through, the now the question is, will this pull back? And I do think it may. You know, speed is still king. How fast do you climb that punch into the cliffside, you know, as you head toward the Watopia, you know, the bottom slopes of Watopia Mountain reverse? It is going to be important. You can gain a lot of time there as a climber, but at the same time, if you slow down too much on these flatter sections, especially the section immediately after the climb, you have to really, really recover in some lower numbers. You know, I just get the feeling that that is going to be more important on the day than what you may get out of what we saw from Innovation Alien Horde. We'll have to see, though. The time will tell us. Cryogen Gulls versus TSZ Waffles, though, heating up at the top of the leaderboard at this point. And we are getting some questions here coming on through. Not seeing 858 wheels, maybe because of how sharp the climb is there, TR Play. That's a great question. And I have a feeling perhaps that is exactly why, that that climb being so incredibly sharp, a few of the riders may have been looking to not use the 858 out there. Well, I believe, no, maybe not. That's a full dish 808 up ahead of us there. So moving our way back here now, we are going to be jumping in with Vikings Valgrind. And on the front, it is going to be more Watts coming out of Germany with Flintstone right behind him, Pickering and Low M, Perret and Platt. A Olsen, it looks like, is he dropping off or a part of the Waffles? And I have a feeling that the TSC Waffles are already making a catch. This is absolutely dynamite right now, the way that these riders are going after this. Now, it is starting to scroll through a little bit with the men's side of things, as you can see here, and we'll jump right on back though to these times and get an idea of how it is playing out here. The Doppio is here with the 14:35 from World Elite Zwifters, and that is going to be the top category. But you can see here, Evo Espresso, Cryogens, and TSZ Waffles. It's actually going to be from the Espresso crowd here, the 14:25 that's coming through from Evo Espresso. So solid result here from Espresso. We'll keep an eye on that. Now, TSC Waffles, this is going to be our featured team on the day. They did an amazing job filling out all of our questionnaires out here today, and definitely want to jump in with them and put a spotlight on what an awesome team this is for today. And this is going to be a team coming out of Sweden here. They are making a little bit of a pass here right now, as you can see. Jarhead now, a little bit of a kick. Interesting enough to see now. This rider, I actually do have him here with some live shots. And you can see how he's kind of slowly making his way through, making sure that he doesn't drop his team, but at the same time accelerating as much as they can to get by the pass there of TV. Now it's all together here and up and out of the saddle here. Now you're going to see a little bit of an acceleration to try and get away from the other riders that were behind. It does look like they made a solid pass. And this team is just so incredibly organized. Always great to watch how good their communication is out there. And currently sitting at that 14:35 is going to be competing now today for a top 3 with Cryogen, Espresso, and then TSZ Waffles. Now seeing a little bit of another comment coming through from Regio Costa saying the climbs are very difficult. We arrived at 4 only Cryogen Kestrels. And so a little bit of a shout out as well from Marlene Jarhead. Same last name. Go Team SZ Waffles. Hurry up. Dinner is ready. James Rogers saying only time you want at 8:58 is Forest Fit Sprint Finish, coming from Hodges, and the man that might know a little bit about Zwift racing. Good to see James Hodges hanging out in the chat. Now for right here, Jonas, we do have some background information on our featured riders. It's always great to get it. He's an indoor specialist from what we can see in what was provided here. Says that he's got okay punch and short climbs and a drafty menace on all of the seconds. Can on occasion present a decent sprint for his racing expertise. His in real life experience and accomplishments here, as we see him sit up and get a rest, the section through the course here, that this is definitely going to be a section that you can kind of bury yourself before here, and then because you can look forward to this, get a little bit of rest, and then roll through. And the roll through there is going to be really important. Oh, he's actually losing the wheel. He needs to hit this now. That's not going to be coming back. Like, this is absolutely gone here at this point. Full gas to get back on terms, as it's 14, 16 watts per kilogram, 15 watts per kilogram. A little bit of a show for us here. But as you can see, this is where the insanity, and it does look like he's going to make it and get right on the back here. If he does back off now, he will not roll through with too much speed. It does look like they backed off in order to wait for him even. That was a huge effort now. Now the roll through is going to be so incredibly important though. 158 beats per minute, as you can see. Not slowing them down too much, but that was a big risk there. It does look like they did lose it there for just a second. From my perspective on the way that was taken on, perhaps maybe just a little bit of a punch more there on that downhill to not lose any kind of time. But in real life experience here, coming from the man, Jonas, is going to be finished a bunch of Ironman distance triathlons as well as ultra marathoners, actually. So no cycling races, usually hours after the winners, though, he's saying. So, but still solid that he's out there getting it done. He's a clinical psychologist and university lecturer, a dad of 2, and also early adopter of Zwift, started in DCAT. Now, that is an amazing accomplishment to be. I mean, what a story here in the background here coming from Jonas, and worked his way up through all the categories, now closing in on 500 races, hoping to reach A+ before retirement. Sometimes races Zwift on a cross-country skiing machine, which is his ski erg. Wow, that's kind of cool. Only second strongest rider in the family, however. Wife Marlene, which we know a lot about in the esports world, races with the top women, interested in endurance sports and generally the psychology of pain and suffering. So loving to have them here. And Marlene Jarhead, I mean, that is a name that we know really well, that we have talked about for years now on the Zwift platform. So always cool how it's keeping it in-house here with that family. And seeing them able to be out there Zwifting together. As they do push on toward the front, and they're heading into their second lap in just a moment. We'll jump in a few more times with some of some of the other members of the team for our highlight out here today. But I just wanted to definitely jump our way through, though, a little bit here and highlight that it does look like TV here. The Vikings, Valgine, they are keeping these boys within striking distance, actually, which is pretty cool to see. They're only 10 seconds back here, and we'll see if perhaps MC overcooked it a little bit early on, or maybe it was just losing a little bit of a time there as they did make their way on that downhill and had to wait up. Now, Cryogen Gulls, always one of the top teams. Cryogen winning over and over again they have been a consistent podium, if not winner, of the WTRL TTT. Be on the watch out for these boys. 1 minute back currently from the TV team, which means that they have closed no time down, or have they actually come up and over the top of over a minute actually closed down? We'll have to wait and see, because this next time check coming in at 20K will give us all the information, but they are battling it out right now with Evo Espresso is what's happening between the Gulls with Borrell, well-known name amongst the ZRL esports scene. But now look at Evo Espresso ride with Peter here. Now still the hashtag in there as they look to support him in real life now. But wow, Evo are on fire today. They had already taken down 8 seconds between the Gulls and them, and you can see that is only going up here as we see Williams on the back, Thorn, Moxie, Marathi looks like to the front, 5 watts per kilogram now, consistent 47 kilometers per hour. Thorn now coming out of Norway on the front, 405 watts, 157 beats per minute. Pretty low there, actually. Not too incredibly crazy or intense here coming from Thorn, as we do see the South African DW making his way to the back. Now, as you see the rotation through, coming from Hurt Locker, and still pretty calm there with the heart rate. Has plenty to work with here with a lap to go. This looks like we've got quite the battle on our hands as we wait for the 20-kilometer mark. Ruggiero giving a little bit of shout out to the Cryogen Gulls. And obviously they have some cheering, but it's going to need a lot of support here at this point, because it does look like Evo Espresso have shown up to dominate today. They also showed up in pretty slick looking matching kits here. We got black socks. Oh, a little bit of a change up though. White, purple, white. I wonder if they're color coordinating at all. No, it doesn't look like they're coordinating for the pulse. But now DW to the front, 5-2. They seem to be keeping things so incredibly consistent to be getting the time that they are, because as I look at this, I'm not seeing, now there we go, up into that 6 watts per kilogram. I was expecting a little bit higher watts per kilogram for the kind of time that they're throwing down. Maybe reserving something, maybe on the recovery still, perhaps. But I mean, usually at this kind of level, it is 6 plus. If you're kind of walking away with it a little bit. Now looking at Innovation Alien Horde, they're the next ones to come through that 20-kilometer mark at 28:36. That is the marker. And that is going to be, I believe, around the corner a little bit here in just a moment. Now, it does look like the Gulls did drop a couple off very early, so they must have gone extremely hard. Kel's now to the front for 6. As you can see, now here comes 5-9, as that's actually going to be OJ. Cryo here, Cameron on the front, and this is a rider at 6.4. Now that's a little bit more of what I'm expecting. 5.5, 6-ish, high 6s. Perhaps though the bottom slopes of Watopia Mountain putting a little bit more sting in the legs than I was anticipating out here today. So that may be why what's happening there. Now TV again, they are on the chase for SZ, but SZ are opening things up, it looks like, out to 19 seconds. It was at 10 when we checked before. And SZ are on the hunt, looking to chase down even more teams, as it is only 1 minute up to Z-Sun now at this point, after they've already taken down the team of TV, of making that catch and coming up over the top of them. So let's go ahead and jump on in with some more of our featured riders, though. This is going to be Olsen. And good to see Olsen out here hammering away. This is going to be the man. This guy's a legend. This guy's absolutely legend, because he does this on a hand cycle, pounding away 2.83 watts per kilogram. Ontario Olsen, absolutely love this guy, Anders Olsen. Go ahead and have a little chat about Anders. He's a hand cyclist. Road can hold decent watts for a long time. Now, this man is a para swimmer with gold medals in World Championship and Paralympics. 56 world record times. I mean, the amount of accomplishments that this guy has with his upper body muscles is the pinnacle of human accomplishment. I mean, 56 world record times in Paralympics, para swimmer, gold medals, national champion in paracycling. He did the Vaterundan 300 kilometers in 8 hours and 51 minutes. Target was 10 hours. This guy is a monster. I mean, you look at this guy and you think, oh, I mean, there's some initial thoughts like, really? He's really doing this way? Is that actually even possible? and then bam, you get those kind of results in front of you, and you go, okay, this is literally the best in the world at being a hand cyclist. Like, no joke. They don't just hand out gold medals for nothing. Absolutely awesome to see, and loving it that he's a part of this team coming out of the TSC here. So his, what he's doing in real life for work and family, he's got a wife, adult son, and 2 grandkids, and a dog. A little bit of fun facts about him here. In 2011, being the first handicapped swimmer which participated in Alcatraz Classic Swim with the Centurions race. Olsen's performance in the swim, which runs just about a mile and a half, but was also the fastest that this race had ever been swum, in 24 minutes and 32 seconds for Anders. All done in teeth-shattering cold 55-degree weather. He did swim using only his arms, literally. This is because Olsen is paralyzed from the waist down, actually. That made him not only the fastest swimmer with use of any appendages, but to complete the swim, it made him the first swimmer without functioning legs to even enter the race and still get the fastest time. Wow. His incredible upper body strength led him to blow the competition away by a 4-minute margin. So, I mean, and I'll be honest with everybody here. I see these kinds of, this kind of thing, and I go, is this real? Like, what is going on here? Can someone really keep up with their arms in this way with this kind of a level? And I've seen those questions coming through. There's the results. The proof is in the pudding. Absolutely awesome to see. And great to have Anders Olsen here coming in from the TSC Waffles. And it looks like a 27:08. They just continue on looking for the gold medal today. Absolutely awesome to see. Now, across this team, there are quite a few others. And John Worm, he's actually the one that approached us about having the feature. And it's good to see him and his organization that he brings to the TSZ team. We'll see if we can jump in with John and give a little bit of highlight to him. This is going to be John up and out of the saddle here, pushing on the front, 4.6 plus watts per kilogram. It's going to be his turn now as they push through to 49. And Olsen there trying to close things down. Looks like a little bit of disorganization, perhaps. We'll see if they can get things. It does look like coming back together, but not disorganization. I just say a couple of gaps that needed to be closed there for a moment. They took another 10 seconds out of the gap to Z-Sun, who are ahead, now up in the 5.6. You do see John here ramping it up a little bit. He went to the front with not too much, now up into 6.4, 7 watts per kilogram. It looks like they're really tempering how they go to the front and then picking up the speed. Great to see. Not causing any gaps here. Now, Anders Olsen here closing it down quickly, though. It does look like that little bit of a bump did cause a gap, but keeping it together. Solid job here coming from John Werb. Man, Anders is a mean cyclist. I'm hearing from Ricky Klinval. Amazing over on the Facebook post. Appreciate you there, Ricky, for jumping on in. Good to see you, Hans-Peter Kurz, over there from Austria, as well as Anthony Brumo coming on in. So good to see you and hanging out in the chat. Now, John, a little bit of a highlight here for John. Great organization coming from him, getting all this together for us. He is the team car man, is what it says. That he really is the DS around a lot of this, an organization for the team leadership. He's an indoor cyclist for his type of racer. He's got an okay sprint. His in real experience is he's just a sunshine road cyclist. Sometimes he'll find his MTB in the garage, so not a whole lot of racing or anything like that besides Zwift. For work, he's a production leader in an electronic company, and his family is the team Swedish Swifters. Absolutely awesome. That says a lot, actually, to what this platform can provide for these riders. The suffering together is always awesome. Fun fact, every day I take off from cycling is an achievement. Every day I take a day off from cycling is achievement. Has still not achieved the goal of winning over Nathan in a race, but it will come. I'm a better coach than rider. Appreciate it. I appreciate the little shout out there, John. And as you hammer away out here, we'll see. The day will come. I'll have a bum race one of these days, or you'll have a really good race. Not to take anything away from you as they punch up and over the top. This dirt road section, always a difficult section to try and take on. So the ladies have jumped out on course. There is only 2 in the Viennas, just as a heads up, everybody, as we're going to go ahead and give them a little bit of a shout out here for just a moment. And then after, and we'll also be jumping over to the Vienna Frappe times, though, as well as the riders. make their way around. But in the women's category here out here today for the Vienna Espressos, it is going to be for the day. BBB, who have taken out on course, and then the always super strong Sisu I Race Like a Girl. So 2 spots here, battle between the 2 juggernauts. But I have a feeling, it's going to be Sisu I Race Like a Girl again. Now, we will jump in, though, with the Frappes. Vienna Frappes here, as you do see the Vienna Frappes with the Aeona Bravas, 2 Gas Breezes, going to be EHDR Amazons, Z, Sun, Pluto, and Evo Comet. Sox, Schwartz, Odd Sox have been walking away with a lot of these lately. So we'll see if they continue on with their domination. As BBB here are being caught, though, just a little bit, as you can see. Sarah, Tracy, TP, Teresa, and Ann, and immediately 8 seconds already taken out from them as Ligler, Carly Johan, Catherine Curry, Kessler here, Ligler. They are closing things down immediately. So it's going to be perhaps a little bit of a foregone conclusion. Not going to take anything away from BBB showing up on the day, but they do have times to beat from the rest of the day today as well. So we'll see as they make their way around course what kind of times that they're looking to beat on the day as well. Aeonian Bravas, they were the first to head out on course. They have started with 6. It looks like 2 Guys Breezes as well started with 6. The Amazons, not sure how many they're going to be starting with yet, as they have not jumped out on course yet. So again, we will be jumping in with the ladies. It does look like on the front, Kessler, 42 kilometers per hour, and already taken out 11 seconds to their main competitors within the Vienna Espressos here. So solid job. Now, interesting, I just saw John Worm jump off his bike, actually, for just a moment, as they made it through a downhill section quickly. Crazy to see. And I've done this before. I've seen this before where, you're going through a downhill section, you get a little bit of a quick ability to get into a super tuck. If you ramp the speed up real quick, if you need to change something, boom, you can just kick it real quickly there over and get something done. Looked like he had to make a quick little adjustment to his camera or the computer that he was riding on at the point in time or something along those lines. So obviously very experienced Zwifter if he's able to jump off like that. Now, back in with another one of our featured riders out here, and this is going to be Lundstrom. Lundstrom, very familiar name in the world of Zwift racing, that's for sure. Been commentating on this guy forever. Great to see him jumping in with us right now and hitting this awesome time that we're seeing from the TFC Waffles. We'll see if they can hold on, though. That's going to be the question, because a top 3 is where they were kind of going after. World League Drifters of 27.07. We'll see how that's competing. Evo Espresso continue to walk away. 27.08, 1 second off the fastest Doppio time at the moment in our Platinum League. Krajen Golf fading a little bit. Z-Sun Red Dwarfs moving their way up a tad. Evo Espresso at that 26.57, extending their gap, though. So as we jump in with Lundstrom, he makes his way back to the back of the pack here as they hit the dirt section. One more time over the top of the Ocean Cliff side climb, the bottom slopes of Watopia Mountain reverse, a left-hand turn away from the jungle loop, and then a false rising flat through the cliffside as you look down over, not sure what we call the Watopia Ocean, Watopia waters down at the bottom of the mountain, but you get a nice little view now if the rain does clear to the left-hand side as they make their way across the cliff and then back over to the bottom slopes, downhill through a little section of reprieve that they do get on that downhill through the bottom slopes of Watopia forward, actually. So Lundstrom, another one of our featured riders out here today. Simon Lundstrom, he's a road cyclist. Flats and downhills is what he's all about because he's heavy and strong, according to him. He's in real life experience, no real once. Have cycled 600 kilometers in 24 hours and done a virtual Everesting. Whew. That is, that's one that I am not looking forward to doing. I don't know if I'm going to go after that badge actually, but and he's it does look like girlfriend and work, and he's a music teacher. He does 15 hours of training each week. Because his girlfriend is the chocolatier, it says. Because his interests are food and nice beverages. So his main motivation being the 15 hours a week because he likes to eat. And that's part of why a lot of us do this as well, I would think, is keeping that fitness. And cyclists, we like to eat. That's for sure. It's always a little bit of a benefit. Now, let's look like as they make their way into the climb, we are going to get a little bit of a view into what it looks like to try and take this climb on. 185, you can see the grimace on Lundstrom's face at this point. He's trying to keep things together. Looks like he's going to do so, but Sunderland off the back, and we'll see if we can get some live images of Sunderland or any of the others that perhaps are struggling a little bit at this point. Olsen there really trying to hang on as well. Anders, now you can actually see Anders here, the intensity coming from him to try and hang on to the back of this crowd, continuing on right now. Sunderland now also trying to make his way forward as Anders pulls him up the climb here. Now, Sunderland, I'm going to get some images of him as well, as this is going to be Martin. I have a feeling that Martin, though, he looks fairly well. No, you can see the grimace. I thought he was looking calm. But no, he is having a little bit of a struggle to hang on for a moment there. Now up and out of the saddle to close things back down, maybe reserving as much as he can and just keeping things in line as he should. Having that kind of organization to keep that straight line, very important. A little bit of communication going on there, as you can see. But, if they are keeping that straight line, keeping things shut down as best they can and not overlapping each other, that means they're a very good team at reserving the matches that they need, because every little extra bit does count over the top here. You don't have to want to do any more work. And if you do overlap, you're going past the riders in front of you a whole bunch. Those are extra matches, and you also might be slowing those riders down. Allow the rider who's leading things over the climb to do their job, stay in your place. And a lot of teams, this is my personal opinion, they group up on the climb, and that's fine if you keep your position within the group, but if you keep overlapping each other, my opinion is that's not going to help because you're wasting matches with each overlap. You can be reserving that, send one or two to the front, and just go, right? One goes to the front and takes over. As you can see on the front here, it is going to be Brockford. He's taking over, hammering away right now. It's his job to get them over the climb, as you can see. This is actually going to be the rider we're looking at here. This is going to be Richard Brockford. He is the man right now over the top of this climb, trying to get through. It looks like Z-Sun as they compete with that 27:08, looking for the 30 kilometer mark that they will hit over the top of the cliffside. Now, this is going to be a struggle because this is the moment where the reprieve is being looked for, and everybody looks to slow down just a tad, but instead they have to kick one more time through that team, and they make it happen here as Brockford continues to take over. Now it does look like a roll through here now coming from John Worm, 3.8, and that's going to try and get those speeds up to 40 kilometers plus per hour through this cliffside. Richard Brockford, he's actually a triathlete. A high lowest level, from what I can see. Here's a 70.3 Swedish champion, age group 35 to 39. Great to see about that. He's got a wife and two small boys. Worked for the Swedish Armed Forces. Serving country, it sounds like, here as well. His fun fact is he did 45 chin-ups when he was 25 years old. That was before I started with triathlon. And he likes triathlon and champagne. And that's what you get after you win 70.3 Swedish champion for his age group, I'm assuming. So, and it does look like this guy is a monster on the bike when it just comes to big watts. And that's that triathlete consistency that we like to see. We are seeing Victor Chachu coming on through. Above 100 cadence is normal here. It is. I mean, having a high cadence actually is very, very efficient. I mean, it does depend a lot of times, as what you're able to and want to accomplish out there, as far as that goes, for your abilities. But I would have to say that high cadence is a pretty normal thing in and amongst the riders. Innovation Alien Horde, now as you can see, coming on through with that time of 45. Over 45 minutes now. It's good to see solid effort there coming from them. Looking through now, though, let's get a few more of our featured riders, as it is going to be Erickson, Eggerson, and Martin Sunderland still that we do want to jump on in with, and appreciate the effort that these guys have put in out here for us today and putting all this information together, getting a little bit of inside look into who these riders are and what the pain looks like, the kind of effort that they put in. And that's one thing I definitely also want to highlight here with them is there is so much effort as well as camaraderie that you can see amongst these team members, the kind of family that I would almost like point it toward, a family feel that they have developed with each other, showing up week in and week out. And this is one of those teams that definitely has been showing up week in and week out for a long time. CSZ Waffles and the whole SZ crowd always has been a huge part of the Zwift Racing League, as well as the prior to any of the WTRL TTTs, SZ have been there almost from the get-go, covering a lot of their organized races as well early on, the Wednesday series that we were happening over and over and over again. So actually awesome to see from them. And now them, and we're getting to kind of see this, some of the fruit of all of that here now, with this top team that really knows each other and shows up so consistently for this sacrifice on a weekly basis for each other to get the best time that they possibly can. So in with Jerry Erickson. He's a road cyclist all-arounder with a knack for suffering. He's got no merits in real-life experience, just a regular family man. He's got 2 wonderful daughters, and he used to live in the French Alps, but didn't do any cycling. Was a rock climber, actually, at the time. Main interests are cycling and playing video games, finding a combination in Zwift. That's pretty cool, actually, and I can relate to that. There wouldn't be a ZCL broadcast if that wasn't a thing in the world with bringing those 2 worlds together. So a guy who's kind of in the same kind of world as Nathan's mind was when I first started streaming and doing the Zwift thing. So great to see from him. Waffles actually coming through now, 42:04. They brought back some time here, it looks like. Evo Espresso, though, not in yet with their time. So that's most likely why we've got the situation that we are seeing here, as Evo Espresso did have, and there it is, 41:58. But the Waffles have brought back a little bit of time as we do get to scroll through here for just a moment. Give us 1 second here. At that last checkpoint, it was 11 seconds. 11 seconds. We're going to see if we can reset this. I have a feeling perhaps it is going to stop scrolling on us here if I do reset the link for just a moment. But looking through, and it was out to 11 seconds, now 6 seconds. So they have the time over the top of that climb there. They're into the final 6 kilometers or so. I believe it's 38 actually. So there's about 5 kilometers to go. Nothing but a descent. And because of this descent, the way that this is going to work is that they are going to be in full-on sprint mode coming out of here. And everyone's going to be able to really save up a few extra matches here on this downhill, and that is going to make it this crazy ramp up through Ocean Boulevard. There's even another downhill as you head into Ocean Boulevard. This is going to gain some matches, clear the lactate, and we're going to see some huge numbers when it comes to the speeds in the back end of this TTT out here today. As we head into the final little bit of this course out here, I definitely want to continue on. Make sure we get every rider that is a part of this team their deserved highlight out here. And Peter Eggerson here, he's a TTN road cyclist. This is, guys, a serious, real deal when it comes to cycling out there, because he's a gold medalist 2018, silver medalist 2017, 2019, 2020, Swedish national champion, Masters, Tempo. This man is a juggernaut in real life. The rest of the riders on the team there, a lot of them, not a whole lot of in real life experience, but man, talk about between them here, the para swimmer with 56 world record times, gold medals at world championships. Amazing. And then you've got this guy as the gold medalist, silver medalist, and the Swedish national champion for 2020. No joke. Watch the speeds as they come out of this final down here as we jump in with Peter Eggerson from the team at SZ Waffles. He's got a wife and 2 kids working in IT. Interest in cycling, food, and whiskey. He started cycling in 98 on a mountain bike. Thought the road cycling seemed sickly dull. Got racer in 2000 and thought the TT race seemed kind of dull. Now he's a TT race specialist. Do not even own a mountain bike. Interest in cycling is definitely changed up a little bit here and there between the disciplines. I can relate a little bit there as I was racing crits over the last week. And I'm still on the mountain bike, though. I was racing the mountain bike this weekend, but I can understand that. I kind of didn't get the chess match so much and just like the strongest man wins on the mountain bike as well as technical skills. Maybe that's what that's after. But now he's like, no, it just likes the pure power, it looks like here from this man, Peter Eggerson. And, for me, Zwift changed that up a little bit, though, too, looking at the power numbers and trying to just like, what can I do up against these riders and how can and also bringing out the tactics in the game actually opened up the reality of tactics in real life road racing as well. So, for me personally, the Zwift experience opened up road racing to me, who has a mountain biker, a little bit more. TSC Waffles, they can make this happen. Brockford's toward the front here, as you can see. We're looking at the man Eggerson here now, 3.6, 2.9. Brockford now 10 watts per kilogram on the front. We're seeing 6.5 watts per kilogram here coming from Jarhead. This is going to be for the win. Can Jonas make it happen? Is this going to be the sacrifice, though, that needs to happen? Because they don't need every rider to the line at this point. They just need big speed, 49 kilometers per hour. You're going to need 50 plus, I have a feeling here. Making our way back to Evo. Here they are. And have they really brought back that much time? What is happening here? This is going to be Evo Vortex, I think, not Evo Espresso, actually. So, no, that is not the team that we're looking for. We're looking for this team. And this team here with Thorn, Moxie, and the others, let's try and get a comparison of what kind of power they are putting out and speeds, 54 kilometers per hour, but they just came off the mountain with the roll-through speed. 48, 30 we're seeing here is a call out there. Thorn obviously giving the directions about how to take on the turns here as they roll right on through. Look at Maratti. Maratti now pushing. The Italian, 51 kilometers per hour here. We'll see what kind of speed they can bring back. We move our way forward for Cryogen. Cryogen still having a good day at 42.38, holding on to a third place overall in the Espressos. Keep on moving forward, though, as Z-Sun are behind SZ. These are the boys we're talking about, though. On the front, here comes the reality of Jarhead. No, it's going to be Worm now. Again, Olsen, Anders Olsen, the man. Let's take a look at the hand cyclist. I mean, the just dominating force that he is as a part of this team. We just saw him up in that 7 watts per kilogram for just a moment. Now 6.3, 180 beats per minute. You only need 4 to the line. It's time to go up and out of the saddle here, as you need some all-in pulls if you're going to hang on and take over that 6-second gap between SZ and the Team Evo that are hard chasing at this point. Z-Sun Red Force, they're just off the podium at 44.13. No, not even close to the podium. Excuse me. 42 is going to be the benchmark, actually, within that minute, because 44, 44.26, 44.54. There's a battle between 4th and 7th, but it doesn't even come close to touching the times here of the upper end of the Espressos today. Waffles trying to get it done. Now, you see him ramping up here. Olsen now trying every last bit to hold on. Now it is going to be Brockford to the front. See if we can get eyes on the man leading things out for them. Now he is up and out of the saddle here. This is going to be him, as Olsen, is actually still on the front. Now 6 watts per kilogram. Olsen probably going to be done and allow the rest of them sprint it out here as Brockford leads out the sprint. Now we're going to start seeing the orange numbers coming up and out of the saddle here. Edgerton now 4.9. As you can see, we'll see if we can get some good shots here. Jerry Erickson here. This is going to be the man now absolutely up and out of the saddle. We'll add them all to the spotlight here as we get the view of what these boys are just giving here. And actually, from what I can see here, Martin Sendelin was saving a little bit now. And there's that 13 watts per kilogram that we were talking about. Amazing job here from each and every one of the riders on that Team SZ. Look at them up and over the handlebars. Completely smash themselves. And that is the look. I know that looks so incredibly well. Just trying to catch every bit of breath. Can barely hold the head up here as Evo look to come across. Will they get the better time? This is not going to be the Evo Espresso. This is going to be Evo Vortex. We'll continue to move backwards. This is the team that they were battling with, though. This is going to be Evo Espresso as they look to make the chase over onto the these boys here just ahead. And we are going to start losing the riders here. Apologies on that. We'll get the times in as quickly as we possibly can. Let's see, perhaps Lucas Morwatts can help us out from TV as we jump back in. Here we go, and he is going to help us out. Big appreciation from him. Cryogen now coming to the line. We're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our featured team out there today. Great job to them. We'll see if they were able to pull it off and get the win. It was very, very close. It was only 6-second difference, as you can see at that 30-kilometer mark. And you saw the live images there, how much they put into the tank here, or how much they drained the tank here completely to try and make this happen. We'll see what TSP Waffles can do as the results come on in. Cryogen now ramping it up. Don't seem like they had even not quite as much as we saw from those 13 plus watts per kilogram from the reality of TSP Waffles. Well, Cryogen holding on, it looks like, too. A third place overall still, so solid job to them. But Evo, that is going to be the question. They're actually getting mixed up a little bit here with a few of the others now at this point, but they only need 4 to the line here, and it is going to be Murati leading it out. There it is, 51:40 at the top of the time elapsed at this point, but that doesn't tell us what the actual time is at this point, as it does start getting counted from the line that WTRL puts in game. So we'll wait and see what the results have to say. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the ladies, though, as they are making their way around course. Vienna Espresso, they are finishing up their first lap. We will be in with the Espressos as well as the Frappes. We'll keep an eye, I think, as far as holding on to the images, though, of the Espressos. We'll come back to them as we can. The reality is that there are 2 teams, so really the battle that we're going to be taking a look at, though, with the Viennas today is going to be watching a lot of what's happening in the Frappes up against also what is happening with the Espressos. It does look like with the Espressos, that climb really, already almost 2 minutes as they come over the top there with Sisu Race Like a Girl at a 15:52. Jumping on over to the Frappes here, as you can see. And for those that just tuning in wondering, where is Mr. Dave Toll? He is jet setting out there getting awesome top secret content with the Zwift and crews out there. So he'll be back with us, I believe, next week. So be on the watch out for that. But big shout out to Dave, and he's out there traveling. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you can go ahead and give him a follow there. Twitter, he's posting a whole lot of stuff about his travels. So kind of posting little tidbits here and there about where he's at in the world. So giving you an idea of what he's up to. Pretty cool to see, and can't wait to have the colleague back in the chair next to me to chat all things Zwift racing. But it is going to be the Socks for Watts odd socks in the ladies race now at this point that are topping the tables with a full on 20-second gap now at this point. So very solid ride here so far coming from the odd socks. We'll see if we can find the B category, the Frappe category here in just a moment, as we do have Donna Watts that's going to help us out to get a crossover there. And this is going to be the odd socks with the fastest time so far. They just coming over the top of that first climb onto the cliffside section. This is what I was talking about, the nice view on cliffside that you do get. Well, there's a little bit of fog out there, but we'll see if we can get, there we go. If you do get this camera view, you can see the Watopia Ocean out there. And according to your Google Maps, as well as, your Strava, this is actually going to be the Pacific Ocean for where Watopia is placed in the world. So if I'm going to try and be as close to what we get for the information, that water body is the Pacific Ocean, or maybe just the Watopia Ocean. But Donna Watts now making her way to the front, 3.7 now. They do have 20 seconds over the Evo Comets. HDR Amazon's there at 18. Aeonian Brava's there, 18:35. Not sure if Zisa and Pluto made a start today, so it's going to be those 5 teams within the within the Frappes today. Taking a look at the time comparisons. It is a good battle there between BBB and the rest of the B categories. But looking at Cesar Reza Guerra walking away with this one in comparison between all of them, and not surprisingly at all. As we do see here, let's make our way toward the front, though, of the B category and throw a little bit of highlights out there as they make their way around the course. And Aeonian with their new kit in game that they earned jumping into the Zwift Racing League last season at the top level. Nasrin here now, as you can see, coming out of the UK. This is a solid team. Kaz, Mandy, Debbie, Lucy, and Lizzie Archer always great to see in game, that's for sure. Definitely see if we can find information on each and every one of the riders out here as well, across their profiles. These riders from Aeonian, the newer team that launched this past year, this is one of those teams that saw the carrot in the ZRL and said, I'm going for that. We want to be at the top level. We want our kit in game. And they made their team, and then they went and earned it. Absolutely awesome to see. An amazing story, actually, that was put together with the Aeonian team. So solid job to them. Kudos to them. Caroline Beresford, one of the riders that we're looking at here on course for the. Is she actually going to be in with this Aeonian team? I ever wonder if that's perhaps Kaz. I'll have to wait and see if we can get a good identification around the riders here. But she does ride for the Aeonian team, level 35 Zwifter. 107 races actually out there. Does to do the WTRL TTT. It looks like almost on a weekly basis. Sure if this is going to be her first Platinum League appearance from what I can see. Did do the Zwift Racing League though. Season 3 it looks like over in March. And she's been racing since, like a lot of these people who are out on Zwift now and a part of the TTT WTRL at this point, last April/May. So good to see she got picked up by the Aeonian crew and is out here dominating, obviously, as they are leading things out in a 4th place right now at 1835. Some time to make up on the Sock Schwartz Odd Socks, who obviously Sock Schwartz always a force to be reckoned with within the world of Zwift racing, that's for sure. World Elite Zwifters, good to see you out there. Looks like you're setting a solid time as well. So killing it out there today. I do see you hanging out in the chat over on Facebook. We'll start getting some results coming on in as we go. Actually, as we wait for the ladies to come around, I know TSC Waffles and some of the others are probably waiting for us to get some of the official. There's Nathan on a second time through as we brought the broadcast in. But let's go ahead and bring in some of the results on the men's side of things, as it's going to give us a good idea of how things have played out so far. And a lot of people probably waiting on these results for the broadcast. And then that'll give the ladies a little more time to get around the course and give us some times across all of the categories out here today. Again, we are out on a brand new course we have not seen yet. And that is the Lava Cliffside course out here today. So in the men's category for the Dopios, it was Cryogen Kestrels with a 50-20. The Dopios there from Zone 1 this morning. Wow, amazing job there by them. That's going to be a new course record, I'm assuming, unless the Espressos made something happen. Being the first time ever out on course, then all the course records going to be set today. So put a good one out there because you will get on that course records list. It is going to be a minute 10 back to the World Elite Zwifters. Z-Sun Hercules coming on through also out of Zone 1. 2:52 back, though. Then on over to the Espressos, and this is what we've been waiting for. Did the Waffles make it happen? They did not. They brought back 2 seconds, but Evo Espresso were able to hold on to 4 of those 6 seconds at that 30-kilometer mark split. So, but Vision out of Zone 4 with a 51.46. That is a huge time here. Evo Espresso, TSZ Waffles. Then only 3 seconds off Evo Masters with that Zone 1, Aero Masters, and they're coming out of actually Australian team, the Aero team. So they were early this morning for us, but it's probably the evening for them. And this is going to be their winter time, that they're in. So this is their main Zwifting time. So good to see Aero Masters with a solid time. They're up in 4th place. The Cryogen Gulls, they're 52.43 for 5th, down to Dirty Vipers. They're in 6th. It's going to be Dirt Diggler in 7th, also out of Zone 1. Lots of Zone 1 fast times. Says a lot about the time of year that it is out here. So for the lands down under, I think, in that time of day. Z-Sun Red Dwarfs, followed up by Valhalla Mjolnir. That is the situation here for the top 10 in the Espressos. Jumping on over to the Vienna Frappes here. Dirt Time Chasers BC. Solid effort there from them. 54.03 coming on through. Evo Warlords there, 54.32. And then it's going to be R3R ACDC. But things are going to be changing up here as new teams come through in some other zones. And as you can see, Zone 5 just finishing up. So we're probably going to get some updates here coming on through pretty quickly. They go out immediately after the Platinum League, and it looks like Kirchner Frappe able to set a solid time as the rest of the day's zones come through. And with that top 10, Kirchner Frappe perhaps going to be jumping in with the Platinum League next week. It's going to be hard to unseat them from second. 8 teams between now and Zone 14. We'll have to wait and see. R3R ACDC at 54.38. Adam Racing Team Photons in fifth currently. Relentless there. Tied almost. It was only 5/100th of a second between Adam Racing, Team Photons, and Relentless. Amazing job between 5th and 6th there. Vikings Valrand there in 7th, followed up by the Outsiders there in 8th for for Frappe's there. Eat Dirt 007 there in 9th, followed up by Electric Spirit Company last. We're one of our posters out there as well. So great to see that from them. Holding on to that 10th place. Then in the lattes, it is Eat Dirt 2 with a 59.01, only 12 seconds back. ZID Delta. RR Woolly Rhinos in for third. A lot of Platinum League actually here, holding on to their spots. With Platinum Leagues versus Zone 1, essentially, it looks like, which is very interesting to see. Cryogen Nemo's there for fourth. Going to be Two Guys Nada for fifth. Team ODZ Destroyer of Cookies in sixth. The gap, not much there. 130 so far. Back to sixth. Team Type 1 Lancets there coming on through for seventh. Z-Sun Orion. Eighth. Aero Press. Keeping us caffeinated at ninth. It's going to be Engrave in 10th for the lattes on the men's side of things. And then still some riders out on course, I would assume. We'll come back to the Mochas after we cover the latest coverage. But there are the results. I know we hyped it up a lot. TSC Waffles, they were our featured team. They did an amazing job out there today. And we wanted to see how it ended up playing out between them and Evo Espresso. Unable to close it down, it looks like. But still a solid ride coming from them. The Gulls as well, another one of the teams we definitely featured. And they still were able to hold on for less than a minute back from that top time. Still a lot of zones to come. And so all the way through Zone 14, plenty of racing on the day. Back in with the ladies. And this is going to be the Ionian team. And let's take a look at how things are playing out for these women. This is this is going to be scrolling through. So we're actually looking at the Vienna currently. That is going to be the D-level category riders for the women. And currently it is going to be, and let's go ahead and scroll through all of these actually. That'll be great to just kind of highlight how things are playing out between all of the ladies right now. Nice little battle there happening between Z Scott Alba and Kirchner Vienna Latte. Then Evo Meters there, and they're tied currently at that 10-kilometer mark there. As we continue to look on, Evo Meteors 1858, 1931 for Bicycle Works Bermuda Sisters. Then Adam Racing. Close battle between them and Kirchner Vienna. They're only about a 5-second split, and Rave not far behind that with 4 seconds to them for 7th right now. There's Live by Cycling, and you know, again, as we do scroll through a lot of these, and we see a little bit of split here happening with Aeonian, as they're going to try and pull things back together, hopefully. But as we do look through here and start seeing some of these times as it scrolls through, one thing I did want to highlight again that was brought to our attention, and really awesome, job that these ladies do, is such a huge part of the TTT, is that happy birthday to that team that's sitting in the top 10 currently. Celebrating Lucy's 58th with the Owls. A big happy birthday to Lucy as she hammers away out there right now to hold on to that time as we jump back in with Aeonian here in the Vienna Frappes. Let's see if we can get the scrolling to chill out here for us, as I probably have to use one of our different browser sources as it comes on through here now. Aeonian Bend, Dina to the front. Solid job here coming for her. And then it's going, Ionian Bravas. My bad. HCR Amazons, though, come on through with the 52.37. And, 32.57. And then we're waiting on for the Sox, for Watts Odd Sox, 17.27. Evo Comments there, 47. And so on down to the Two Guys Breezes. Now, in the Vienna Lattes, Crush Pod crushing at 32.49. big gap back to the Vegan Bees at 34-30, 35-34 there for the drafting Dinos. We still have Crush Pod Iced Latte to come through. They were a little bit off the time, though, of their teammates. So we'll see how that ends up playing out at the next checkpoint here as the time does come on through, and they it was not them that came through. Actually, it was the Rockies there with the 35-34, currently sitting in fourth place. WTRL drafting Dinos the next. So Crush Pod Latte as we wait for them. We'll see how that plays out here. Continuing on, though, with our current feature here with the two guys. Breeze says 34-30. Solid time as they sit in third place. We'll see what comes through for Sox, Watts, Odd Sox. They are going to be the ones to watch out for, I think. The gap here between the Amazons and Aeonian. Interesting to see. 58-second split between them. So they're keeping things really consistent. Two guys does look like are closing quickly as we have Costa Ribeiro and Antonio Bacau and Parada now all working together out of Portugal on the front. Solid little setup actually here. And two guys, that's a new kit. I actually have not seen this kit before. So great to see two guys with an awesome kit in game now, as very, very matching too across them here. And not used to seeing two guys looking so slick because maybe using different kits across the teams. I do have quite a few teams actually that do participate in a lot of the ZRL, the WTRL, and lots of the community races. So this new kit now looking shiny, and we on the watch out for them. A little bit of extra motivational legs, look good, feel good kind of a situation, I think, as well. So really, really great to see. I see I'm getting a little bit of a message here, and Martin is letting us know, here's how you get rid of the scroll. I appreciate that, Martin. Go ahead and take care of that as it will now hopefully update. We'll have no scroll. There's the time here at the 20 kilometer mark, though, in the Vienna Espresso. And interesting how close BBB is keeping it to the initial split that it opened up at the 20 kilometer mark, which tells me it's a lot about the climb. A lot about that climb out there as the Vienna Espressos make their way around on course, because the climb was the main thing that made that separation, and it hasn't opened up even nearly as much as what we saw before on that first 10 kilometer mark. Now back in with our featured teams, and here we go. Sox, Watts, Odd Sox. We said it, they were probably going to walk away, and they open up another 4 seconds over the top of the last split. In with the Evo Comets as they're looking to chase them down. Well, excuse me, the other way around, actually, because it's going to be the Sox, Watts, Odd Sox that are chasing them, but they're looking to chase that time down from them. They can see the split between them at this point. If they do want to bring it all back, they are going to have to keep that split going out and not coming down the 33 seconds that they will see next to them, next to their names at this point in the riders nearby. It speaks volumes to them if they want to win on the day. Can they bring back 34 seconds? Give me the question. They've got a monstrous puncher of a climb in just a moment. The bottom side of Ocean, of the Ocean cliffside, of the Watopia Mountain. The bottom side is they head to the cliffside as now they are leaving the Watopia volcano at this point. Let's go ahead and highlight the course out here again today. So Ocean Lava Cliffside Loop. This is what I'm talking about, where a lot of the time has been made up. 100 meters of climbing, very punchy. It does go into some gradients in the teens, so very, very difficult on the day. Give you another idea of what this course is all about. The traditional leaving of the piers and the pens on Watopia, right-hand turn, going through the lava there, as you can see with the volcano, and then heading on over toward Ocean Boulevard for a moment. But you leave Ocean Boulevard, take a right-hand turn, and right up the bottom slopes, Watopia Mountain, reverse cliffside, and then down Watopia Mountain forward and back into a pretty ramped up sprint into the finish line, actually. I think a lot of these riders do take on. So solid course. One of my favorites, actually, when it does come to scratch racing. But TTT, I think, I do like the organization that the climbs force. They do force you to really recognize how to take on a TTT well. And since it does have it's a steady just go up, 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 and then get back into formation or get back into rotating through over the top onto the cliffside section. The one thing about though this course is it does not really back off at the top of that climb. When you do take a left onto the cliff and off of the Watopia Mountain reverse climb, it's a false flat. And so you're just trying to hang out and you're looking for that reprieve, and it just does not come until you actually hit the downhill off of Watopia Mountain. So you think in your head, oh, we're just gonna be suffering over the top of this climb, and the climb ends. In your head, you're thinking it's going to end at that left-hand turn away from the jungle loop. No, it continues on all the way through, and the speeds that can be lost and the time that can be lost without continuance over there. That's really what it is all about here, I think, on this course. Gain the time over the top there, but keep the continuance going on through. So good to see everybody that's tuned in over on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. Really appreciate everybody that is here with us today. We are into the middle of not in the middle of summer, but we're into the middle of the warm season here in the northern hemisphere. And really appreciate everybody that continues on with us here. We also, though, are seeing a lot of the teams and people that have been a part of the Zwift Racing League, been a part of the broadcasts out there in real life races. I mean, this past week I was out at Tour of America's Dairyland here, a stage race that happens just down the street here from me for many days, and seeing so many people from the Zwift community there out there racing, taking the fitness, relationships that were formed in and amongst the Zwift Racing League, in and amongst the WTRL, amongst the community teams, really coming to another cycling discipline and only enhancing each other. So it's really great to see. A lot of times you hear this versus thing, like, well, outside versus. It's not a versus at all from what I saw. It was, wow, this connection that we have made through these events online only goes out into real life even more so then. It's like a win-win-win situation in those connections that have been made, because that's really what it's about, especially when it comes to cycling in teams and that kind of organization. So even if they ride for other teams in real life, right? Like in the Pro 1-2s, there's definitely riders that are riding and racing out on Zwift that were racing against each other, on other teams in real life. But it still brought the camaraderie and and even a little bit of working together between teams, or at least knowing riders and bringing higher and higher fitness. And one thing that has been said for sure is that the Zwifting through the pandemic and through the winter has made the level so incredibly high, actually, that it's just everybody is so incredibly fast here now at this point. And a lot of times the idea of how do you get your fitness in the off season kind of a thing, well, it has only brought the fitness higher, it seems like, because of this platform. As we look at the Sox Watts Odd Sox continuing on with their domination at the top of the Vienna Frappe at this point. Let's take a look real quickly at how things are playing out, though, here for the Vienna Espressos, and CCR Race Like a Girl continuing to hold at that 29:33 as we wait for them to come through for their next checkpoint. We can actually jump across, I think. Catherine Curry, I think, is going to be the one who is going to actually Teresa here from BBB as they make their way onto their second time over the top of the cliffside. As you can see, they've kept the gap pretty steady. I mean, that's 2.5, which is essentially, as you can see, right where it was at the 20 kilometer mark. Again, I will say that this climb, I think, is their bane on the day for trying to battle against CCR Race Like a Girl, because you see how consistent that they were at keeping the gap fairly. I mean, not for the win against them or anything, but or even bringing too much time back, but they kept the gap within reason compared to what they lost in the first 10 kilometers, which this climb is right in the middle of. Then from 10 to 20, flatter. Not quite as much that can be gained here. Now we will see, I think, again, the reality of what this climb and the damage that it can do. Catherine Curry now pushing on the front. You did see for just a moment their 5 watts per kilometer. Here comes Carly Johan now up and over the top as they make their way out of the dirt section here. A little bit of acceleration, 36 kilometers per hour right now coming from her, as it is 8 kilometers to the line. These are the final sections over the cliffside that you can really gain any kind of speed from, as Curry leads things out, 41 kilometers per hour. Liegler sitting on the wheel. It's going to be Kessler, Curry. There's 4 left. I have a feeling, did they actually drop a rider, or did they show up with 4? I'm looking at it. It does look like they did show up with 4. You can see on the little green marker on the board there, on the leaderboard. It says 4. That means that's how many starters they started with. BBB there with 5. 9.4 kilometers to go. 8.1 kilometers to go from the Sisu I Race Like a Girl team as they make their way around. Now, jumping back on over to the Vienna Frappes, let's see how things are playing out with them, as it is going to be our current leaders, the Odd Sox, making their way onto Ocean Boulevard, looking to chase down Evo, but the gap has stayed pretty consistent here at this point. I thought perhaps the Sox for Watts team might be walking away for this one a little bit, but they've kept it consistent there, Evo, and haven't given up too much time from what I can see from the time gaps on the riders nearby list. Let's go ahead and jump on over, though, and see what we got for time splits. Comets, as you can see, 24 seconds. So they did go out by 4 more seconds, but it is not an insane amount of time that was gained the second time through. The 20 seconds early on, obviously, again, the climb, putting the herd into the Evo Comets. But see if they save something up for the second half. This isn't sudden done. You got to race your bike to the finish line here, and we'll see if the Odd Sox can hold on. Looking back to the Amazons there, they were only 13 seconds off of the Comets, but the Amazons here suffering a little bit on the back end of the race, as it looks like the reality for the Amazons here is they have lost a solid amount of time. They're up and over 34 seconds now at this point to the Evo Comets. They were within striking distance perhaps before at that 13 seconds, but now it has gone out. They're going to have to put in a monstrous effort. The Amazons over the top of the climb going into cliffside as they see it in the distance. Here they are hitting it. There is the start on the right-hand side. It's the start of the climb here for the cliffside, but the marker there is actually for bottom to top of Watopia Mountain reverse, and it is very sharp early on. As you can see, it's much, much sharper and steeper this side of the Watopia Mountain as you look off into the distance there at the Alpe d'Huez. But they are not heading up that today. They are just going over to the entry point to the jungle loop and taking a left-hand turn. And now Amazon's here, maybe watching the broadcast, seeing what the time gaps are at this point and wanting to maybe bring some time back. Lisa now holding on to Wheaties' wheel. They're going to need one more. 3 seconds back, and it does look like, see here, not able to hang on. Nancy now going to come across. It looks like they need one more. They cannot drop off more than one rider. Starting only, it looks like, looking at across here, they started with 5. They can only sacrifice 1. Nancy's got to get across. They got to back off at the front, and it's a full 5 seconds, which means a good amount of time may be lost through this here. Now another little kick here coming from the Welsh rider now. Nice job there coming through from the Amazons. We'll see what they can do to maybe bring a little bit of something back. That is going to be, I believe, Caroline Welch, if I'm not incorrect, now being dropped, it looks like, from the Amazons. Fancy Nancy, the rider that did go across, looks like she was reserving perhaps in order to try and give a wheel there to Caroline, but not going to be happening, it looks like here. And Fancy Nancy up and out of the saddle. She was actually just looking to help out. Coming out New Zealand here. Level 29 Zwifter. Killing it on the front now. Really now being the juggernaut here of this team to try and maybe do exactly what we said. Bring back some time on the Comets. But now the Comets are starting their climb, and we're seeing 3.0 watts per kilogram out on the bottom of this climb here at this point, just around the corner. They can almost have them within sight. 34 seconds is what it's at now at this point. So the Amazons trying to keep things away from them with these Comets. The battle there behind all of these is Aeonian Bravas, followed Tugas Brisas, but that's for 4th and 5th. Really, we're talking about everybody on the podium. Odd Sox now trying to make something happen. Here come Tugas Brisas, though, and they have been caught and now passed, it looks like, by Evo. They're trying to keep, it looks like, whoa, big kick there coming in from Parada. Nice little job to get back on terms. Only 4 riders here left for them, though, at this point. Looking back for Sox, Watts, Odd Sox, as they start their climb. Donald Watson get dropped off. Julie Clark as well. It's going to be Rodriguez, Jules White there, and Claire Good. Now to the front, as we do see 3.4 watts per kilogram. Here's the differences when it comes down to these riders and what they can throw down for these climbs. We were seeing 2.5, 2.4 or so from some of the teams, the little way down on the leaderboard. The reality, 3.4 plus probably is what we're going to need from these riders over a VA2 max effort like this, over threshold effort from these Vienna Frappes. Now getting back on terms. Nice job there coming from Julie Clark here. Sultana's going to be gone, though. It's going to be, looks like 5 riders able to make a little bit of a struggle there to keep things steady between them, though, as riders jump across. Now White to the front from the Odd Sox, as you can see. Great job by, and this is going to be Sally White coming from the Odd Sox. And it looks like Sally holding a solid 3.1, 170 beats per minute, level 32 Zwifter. Killing it right now. She's got 78 races under her belt. She's been racing since, again, April of last year. So many riders coming in at that point. She actually started right on into the time trials, it looks like, within a couple of weeks. Her first WTRL team time trial being May 7th of 2024. This team, I'm not sure if she was on this team at that point. I got recruited directly into the team. It's always a good question to ask as whether or not that's how things are playing out for them. Like if it's always interesting to me. Like, was it a recruitment from in real life? Come and do this TTT with us. Come check this out with us. And that was the attraction to it. Or was it a discovery of the team of these riders? Or were they riding together in somewhere when they started chatting about it? You know, my guess is a lot of times it's a recruitment from in real life. People know each other in some sort of way. Or perhaps just a mingling amongst the races and a little bit of chatter and then just noticing each other and then picking up riders. But Sox, Watts, Odd Sox, obviously solid crew right now as they hold on to a solid a good 24 seconds over Evo Comets at this point. Does look like Evo, though, now as they make their way off of the climb. The main climb as and then into the false flat, that is the cliff size. They look over the left hand, what I am calling either Watopia Ocean or the Pacific Ocean, depending on what, if you take where the in real life land of Watopia is when you do save your Strava profile. Rasmussen now from Denmark, ride with Peter in there after the injury suffered there from one of their team leaders. Good to see this support out there still for Peter. Always great to see, as that is a major life-changing event, and always great to see the support there when people struggle through something in life. So great job here from Evo and that team supporting them. We all support you there in the community as well, Peter. If you're still watching and hanging out with us, great to see. Where's Musin now? Good old. It's going to be the rider out of Scotland there. We'll see if we can get a name on that. And then the Mallet and Kirby right now. Again, if you're hanging out in chat, appreciate you. And we are watching the comments. Go ahead and bring any of the comments that you do have on in. We will get the results up for this race is they come across the line, 8 kilometers to go, and most likely a little bit of a walk away still here within the Vienna Espressos. Let's take a quick little look, though, at how things are playing out. It was Catherine Curry and the team of CCR Race Like a Girl at the 20K mark. They actually have not given us the 30K mark just yet. So when they do, we'll jump back on over to them and see how things are playing out with that crew. Evo are trying to hang on to that second place. The question is, how are the Amazons doing? We did see the Amazon team struggle a tad out there and then bring it back together. But as you do see, it is only 10 seconds between them and the Evo Comets at this point. So it does look like that gap has only gone out, as it was 24 seconds, I believe it was, at the last checkpoint. So as we make our way over to the 30, we will start getting an idea. But as you can see with the riders nearby list, they're actually going to make a catch. And that is a full 1 minute difference here at this point. So Evo, solid ride. And they're going to be holding on to their second place for sure. Next thing for them to think about is the 20 seconds back to the Sox for Watts team. The gap not nearly as big. And can they make anything back at this point? I'm not sure, because White is going to, along with the rest of the Sox Watts team, probably keep this pace and open up the gap a little bit more. It's just been a solid effort here from them all day long as the Odd Sox look to take this down. Go ahead and scroll on through some of the results as they are coming in and the time splits for the day here. Sumatran Rhinos, Valhalla Dragvande there, Cryogen Robbins. That's your top three coming through, it looks like, for the Mochas. And I think that was solidified. Maybe in golf taking over top three, as they came across the line. Very close between Zisa and Nebula and the rest. But these are not the results. These were the splits between them. And then as we scroll through here, it is the current situation with C-Star Race Like a Girl, followed up by BBB here, still at that 20 and 30, 10 and 20K mark. That it is going to be, as we just saw, situation with the Vienna Frappes. Jumping on over to the lattes, though. Crush Pod and Crush Pod Iced Latte there, still dominating at the top. Atom Racing in a battle with the Vegan Bees. The Atom Racing Team Electrons at 34-17. Team Vegan Bees 34-30. Rockies there quite a ways back at a minute plus. Behind the Vegan Bees in fifth, and then sixth with WTRL Drafting Dinos. That is a battle that could end up changing up, though, with only we're seeing 7 seconds between them. Jumping on over to the Vienna Mochas here, and is going to be Z Scott Elba at the top. They are walking away, it looks like, with this one as Kirchner Vienna Latte are battling closely, though, with the Atom Racing Team Ions. Live by Cycling and their birthday ride out here today, it looks like, with 35.56, only 3 seconds being held on ahead of Z-Sun Hydra. Then it is going to be BRT Inferno Kids at a 37.14. So that's the current situation and standings as we wait for the ladies to get their way around the course here at this point. Still waiting on a couple more splits. I have a feeling maybe the splits here having a little bit of struggle, perhaps. We'll have to wait and see how it comes on through. See if I can get some idea of what's happening with them as the update at the 30. Maybe Zwift power slowing down a little bit at this point. This time of day, definitely a time of day where things really heat up with a lot of events. So as they all come through, tends to put a little bit of a lag on when the times jump on in for us here as the processing comes through. Nancy, now back to the front. This is the section, of course, we talked about being where you can get a little bit of reprieve as they head into their final kilometers. So you can save up. You do want to, if you're unfamiliar with the TTT and you're just checking it out, jumping over the top of the riders and on these downhill sections with a little bit of a sprint can really bring the speed up. If you just get into a super tuck, or and these ladies actually aren't into a super tuck, which is going to lose them some time. They really do need to get into that 57 kilometer plus. And it's not, you see this rider head to the front. There's 61. Now super tucking. The other riders now get into a super tuck and come through. The rider at the back can jump and snowball that speed to the front, but without getting too much of a gap. As you see this gap here coming through from Weedy, that is now finally getting a little bit of draft here coming on through from the rider out of Wales. And again, that is going to be, if we can just check here real quickly, riding for the Amazons. Carol Welsh, I believe. Carol Welsh now on the front here. Now needing to back off a little bit as they hit 71 kilometers per hour, flying off the back. Now this should have given them a little bit of reserve. And they actually closed down a little bit of time to the Evo riders that did catch them and pass them on that downhill. That's interesting enough to see as Kirby pulls on through. Adrian only 16 seconds up. So the Bravas in their battle with the two guys Bricas have a little bit of motivation to keep those riders off of their wheels. Now two guys here, they take on this descent much more organized together here. I have a feeling these riders are going to get a little bit more time than the other ones did. 69, almost 71. We'll see if they get up into 70. See, that's going to be the telling point. How high do the speeds get to on these downhills? It really does matter. A short few seconds with extra kilometers per hour, that is going to gain actually a lot of seconds on the board. Those speeds absolutely matter. The quicker you get into Super Tuck, the quicker that you start reserving energy in it, and then the faster and faster you can snowball that speed. So much time. People think that there isn't a lot of time to begin on downhills. No, speed is king, and if you can push through, not with just high watts, oh, I'm going to go to the front and hammer. You're actually wasting it if you do that. If you just set a tempo at the front, you are wasting effort. You might actually be slowing your team down. It's getting into the Super Tuck, jumping from the back or middle of the pack, and then allowing those Super Tucks to easily get on your wheel while you ramp the speed up. And then another one, and another one, and another one with the roll through. That's how you make things happen on the downhills to get as much speed out of it as you possibly can. Looking back at the riders that have all got dropped off at this point, these are the sacrifices that have to be made to get the fastest time you possibly can. 2 guys, odd socks as well. We are seeing, is this going to be Sox Watch Aero Sparkles as well? Letting one rider go. It looks like that's going to be the odd socks. Probably had a rider show up and get dropped off as early on in order to get the best time they possibly can. But they do have enough riders to get across the line for their time today. Jumping on in. Good to see Euro Cycling Tips, CMI Cycling. Are you alone on commentary? Yes, Euro Cycling. We're back to the old school. This is how it's always been done. Not always. This is how it was done back in the day. For a long time. I don't know if you knew that, but Euro Cycling Trips, excuse me. This is the OG style, where things were where we started. All of the commentary was done solo Euro cycling. So, and then we started adding to the broadcasts, though. What's interesting is all of our broadcasts, actually, Euro cycling trips, was done solo for a really long time. We actually didn't have side-by-side commentary early on for a very long time, the first couple of years. It wasn't until, I think, 2017, maybe, that we started doing side-by-side commentary, actually. So, where at least you could see 2 people and bring them both in. We might have had voices in the background jumping in with us, but yeah. Good to see you, Fly Bikes, as well. Appreciate the comment coming through about the commentary each and every week. We like to show up here and be here for you. And it is a little bit quieter time of year when it does come into the racing scene. Looking forward to the Zwift Racing League coming back in the fall, as well as everything that's going on with Zwift in the month of July. There is a lot of announcements coming down the pipeline, so be on the lookout. The month of July is going to be absolutely insane. Obviously, there's a lot going on, and then also there's the Olympic stuff that's going on with the Olympic series. There's going to be Tour de France is coming, so I have a feeling that there's going to be some things happening around with that. There's some cool things. Obviously, we have some workout streams that are workout rides that are happening as well. Be on the watch out for workouts of the week out there. Really, really cool stuff that's happening. So definitely lots still happening. Just the race scene chilling out. Zwift Classics, though, that's going to be the next real big one on our list here for all things Zwift Community Live and racing, as we watch out for the classics. And it's going to be the Yorkshire Grand Prix. Lionel Viasen and his what he accomplished way back in the Fiat Magazine live race was amazing. I actually did see that when I did mention that. A couple of people went back and watched what happened there and said, yeah, it was absolutely epic. I saw some comments on the YouTube video, so I appreciate that coming through, and that it made me think, oh, people actually listen to the commentary and they go and do the things that we talk about sometimes. So now Rasmussen coming through. This is going to be Evo, and this is going to be their final little kick to the line, and they what a little bit of boost to their confidence coming to the line here as they caught and passed the ladies here from and that's going to be Aeonian. Aeonian, though, are in their own battle with 2 guys. That's what they're thinking about at this point, not about Evo, as Evo start to ride away a little bit here from them. And what's interesting, they're bringing, is that going to be 6 to the line here? That's a lot of riders to have left on Evo, keeping it all together. So solid on them. No sacrifices made. Maybe all pretty congruent with their power files, but they are trying to hold on to that second place against the Amazons, as they're going to do just that, as I do believe they made a catch on the Amazons out there today. It is Sox Watts Odd Sox. They're looking to hold on to their first place, actually, against this Evo team, because I wonder if Evo actually ramped things up looking at the current situation, I would not be surprised if they did. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to bring back 24 seconds, but it looks like a big day here for Evo with a podium in this Vienna Frappes. Now, again, today, this was the espresso for this week for the ladies, but with two teams showing up, we wanted to go across to the Frappes. We will make sure, though, to highlight the espressos as well. And we did have them on screen a bunch out here today so far. So, but it does look like another walkaway for Sisu. I Race Like a Girl. And good on them how consistent they have been in showing up, as we just have riders, though, coming across the line one after another. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. And no splits coming on through as riders are finishing, though. So I have a feeling we're waiting on a little bit more to happen here when it comes to the data in the background. We'll see if the results do come out. And I have a feeling the splits, though, are going to be struggling a tad out here today for the rest of the race. And here we go. Sox, Rots, Odd Sox. We'll see if they were able to hold on to that top spot. Two guys now to the line. I think they ramped it up in the back end of the race here. Will they be able to close down? No, that's a huge time gap. I think regardless of what they were able to accomplish in the final lap, it's going to be way too difficult. Zion and Bravas now are finished up. Now a little bit of kick, though. Prada. We've seen a lot of kicks actually come from Prada. Nice job to Prada. And that's going to be it for our Vienna Frappes all across the line. So good job to the ladies today in that category. Going to kind of jump around a little bit here as we wait for some of the results to come through. Crush Pod out here crushing it as they always do. This is the Vienna Lattes. And they are just about to finish up their race as well. Move our way forward to the Electrons, and the Rockies are out there. We can actually get a little bit of coverage across these categories as they finish up their race out here today. It was Crush Pod 255 at 135. They've got a good gap on their teammates there. Sister team there with the Ice Lattes at 52.16. A big gap between them and the rest as we're looking at the Electrons trying to hold on to their spot just ahead of the Vegan Bees. Here are the Rockies as well with that 57.14. Not sure it's going to be able to hold on to a spot in the Lattes if anybody else wants it. But still, a good show for them. Nice job out there. They do have, it looks like, coming up from her to listed there also, Kirsty, Rebecca, and Deke Phil with the Philippians 413 in there. And it's going to be carrying their little ways off. Good to see solid efforts here all around from the ladies in the Lattes. Gonna just get a double check. And it looks like we're good to go here on these splits as they do start to come in. Let's go ahead and go back just for a moment and take a look at what is happening with these splits back here. It was a 50-14. It stayed steady with that split there, it looks like, between first and second with Evo Comets, AHCR Amazon, 52-26. And then Aeonium Bravas and Tugas Brisas. It was all pretty much the same there across the board for them. All right, it is going on for our broadcast here at this point. I believe we're almost 2 hours out into it with solo commentary. Oh, my goodness. Obviously, here Nathan Guerra Z, Swift Community Live. First time checking this out, I'm not sure we're going to have too many people like that today, but if it is, go ahead and hit those follow buttons, subscribes, do all the things so that you get notifications anytime we do go live or get more updates on what we will be covering. Who were we just looking at? Oh, it's Boy Brevet. I was like, somebody's out here for 38 hours? Who has been riding for 38 hours? And then I recognized that it was an AI from Zwift, Boy Brevet, out on the Watopia course right now. Now, the results just coming in. Went through the men's already. Let's take a look at what we do have for the women's side of things on the results. And it is going to be in the Vienna Espresso, as we did say, at the top. Sisu I Race Like a Girl, 57.03. My question, though, and it will be Sisu I Race Like a Girl, 57.03, current course record. Will that hold for the rest of the day? I have a feeling it will. One of the fastest teams out there, out on Zwift when it comes to TTT. They have been absolutely dominating lately, especially with some of the the Sox Watts teams and some others here taking a little bit of break. They have just been showing up week in, week out, getting an amazing workout and killing it. Now, Vienna Frappes here, all Platinum League until we hit 6th place there, but it's going to be Sox Watts Odd Sox there with a 101.51, only 3 seconds ahead. Wow. Evil Comets almost made it happen, actually. I was watching that and we looked at that last split. Let's take a look at this. This is amazing. So that last split, we bring this in. That last split there that came in was nowhere. I mean, they brought back a huge amount of time. 21 seconds, is that right? 21 seconds is what we're looking at there. And they brought it within 2.91. The Comets, we saw it in the way they were riding. Amazing job by them, flying into the final Ks. Almost pulled it off. Sox Watch just eke it out there, it looks like, as they faded the back end of the course, but there was enough to get by there. HDR Amazon's coming on through with the 104.19 for a podium spot. Union Bravos there, 106.07. Again, another one, two guys, Brisas. That's another situation. Came back only to 3 seconds. Amazing job, because if we look again, it was way out there. So two guys ramping it up in the back end. Wow, these ladies are so competitive in this Frappe crew. So cool to see. The BMZ Sapphires, big gap back. Then the BRT L Kittens getting it done out there today and showing up, though. And that's really what matters. Half the battle. Got to get power out there for the other half, though. But nice job. Crush Pod there coming up through 103.24, followed by Crush Pod Ice Latte. 33 seconds back from their teammates. Vegan Bees there. 3 minutes back from the winning time. Battling, though, with Adamant Racing Team Electrons. Then it's going to be WL Drafting Dinos UK1, followed by Rockies and Rab CC. 10 minutes back. And we are still going to have plenty of Viennas out on course. Finally, with ZSAT Alba, though, getting it done. This is the current standings before everybody's finished, probably in the Platinum League. But currently, HDR Delights, followed by Live by Cycling, Kirchner Vienna Latte, Adam Racing Team Heinz, two guys for Rofias, Ingrid Momentum, Zsun Hydra, Adam Racing Team Zwiftarians, and the Drafting Dinos, UK2. Solid results all around. Now, it looks like it is going to be the WTRL TTD 115 Happy Canada Day coming in. And another first, it's going to be the Beach Island Loop. I'm liking this one. A little bit flatter, I think, here. And some of the riders out there might appreciate it too, but cool one to be doing. So here we go. Come on out for that. Registration closes 8 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday. DCL will be covering the Frappe and Vienna Frappe next week. If your team's keen on feature, or just look out for details in your invite email, and we will get them all out to you. If you like what you saw with TSC Waffles and you want that for your team, go ahead. Send us an email. We'll get you signed up. You have to fill out some forms. Give us all the details about who you are, why you're racing, what your team's all about, and you will get that feature. Well, that's going to be it for me. We'll be back next week with Dave for the WTRL TTT. If you haven't done so already, like I said, hit the follow buttons and do all those things. Subscribe wherever you are watching. We appreciate all the comments coming on through in chat. We appreciate all the racers that are signing up for this. Be on the watch out for the Zwift Classics and more to come with that. Start getting ready for those. There is going to be focused on individuals, though, a little bit different. But you can show up with the team and still try and get the win, obviously. So I hope to see you all out there. Watch out for the TTT for next week. And a few more announcements about everything that is going on for the month of June. We'll have a few more things going on besides just the Zwift Classics. Watch out for some big announcements coming from Zwift as well on what they are up to. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in, as always. And give everybody a big old eye down.